Hey, Lions faithful. It's great to see you back here on Lions News Fan Report, where we live and breathe every single Detroit roar. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Lions News Fan Report, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an insider scoop. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on a developing situation that has fans buzzing. A core member of Detroit's defensive heart was spotted working through limited drills at OTAs with a nagging hip issue. Could this be the spark of a larger story that changes everything for 2025? In recent padded practice glimpses, one of our standout linebackers was present for every walkthrough but noticeably absent from full-team reps, opting instead for trainer-assisted mobility work. Head coach Dan Campbell warned earlier that the team would tread carefully this time of year, citing little dings here and there, and emphasizing smart, conservative management of minor ailments. Yet even he looked a bit wary when pressed about this particular setback. Could this cautious approach hint at deeper concerns? Is it possible the staff has uncovered something that fans aren't privy to? Let's set the scene. OTAs are supposed to be the low-stakes ramp-up to full-contact practices, yet today's session featured an unusually long list of absentees and limited participants. Among them was our focal defender, who, despite donning his jersey and helmet, spent most of the session alongside trainers, focusing on controlled range-of-motion exercises while his teammates blitzed through drills. Questions are swirling. Was this the result of a recent procedure? Or is there a persistent biomechanical issue that could linger into the regular season? Fans are already speculating. Could this be a tactical holdout meant to preserve longevity, or a sign that our defensive anchor might miss early games? Looking back at his performance last season, this very player racked up over 100 tackles and double-digit pressures, cementing himself as the linchpin of Detroit's front seven. Losing that kind of production, even for a handful of games, would force Coach Campbell to lean heavily on less proven backups. Some insiders believe this may have prompted the Lions front office to quietly explore additional depth options at linebacker. Could a surprise new signing be on the horizon? And if so, might it signal that management expects a longer recovery timeline? The emotional weight of the situation cannot be overstated. Locker room chatter suggests that teammates have rallied around their sidelined comrade, offering support, but also voicing frustration at seeing him restricted from full drills. One anonymous source told us that veterans have been pushing extra in practice, perhaps to compensate for what they fear may be a temporary loss of edge presence. Could this collective rise be the silver lining, forging an even tighter bond among the defense, or will it merely paper over the cracks left by limited snaps? Speculation is mounting that an official update could come as early as training camp, with medical staff reportedly conducting final hip evaluations to determine whether this veteran will be game-ready for Week 1. Could Detroit, strategically, announce a mid-September return to build buzz and ticket sales? Or will the front office choose discretion over drama and provide a more conservative estimate, perhaps targeting a late October debut to ensure full recovery? Fans are already drafting timelines in the forums. Some point to a crossover game against a division rival as the ideal comeback stage, envisioning a hero's welcome in front of a packed Ford Field. As practice wraps up and the headlines start to spin, remember that nothing is set in stone until the Lions' official report drops. But one thing's certain: every single practice rep, every rehab session, and every media briefing is being watched under a microscope. Could this storyline evolve into the defining narrative of Detroit's season? Only time, and that final clearance memo, will tell. If you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Lions News Fan Report, and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. Now, let's dive into what the next chapter could look like for our favorite defensive stalwart. According to sources close to the team, medical staff have tentatively penciled a mid-September target for his return, right around Week 3 or Week 4, which just so happens to line up with back-to-back division matchups that could define Detroit's early season trajectory. Imagine the electricity when the crowd at Ford Field senses his presence off the edge once again. A collective roar that shakes the stadium, the opposing quarterback's eyes widening at the sight of that familiar silhouette charging through. Could a late September reintroduction spark the kind of momentum that carries Detroit through a grueling stretch of 6 divisional games in 7 weeks? From a schematic standpoint, defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn may need to tinker with his playbook in the opening weeks. If our veteran bookends misses those first 4 contests, expect more nickel sub-packages with 5 defensive backs, perhaps even a temporary shift to more zone coverage to offset the reduced pass rush. Rumor has it that the coaching staff has been installing a handful of A-gap blitzes, schemes originally drawn up for our injured star, in hopes of unleashing them the moment he's cleared for live action. Could those plays become the game changers that flip close losses into seminal wins? On the player front, the young backup who filled in during OTAs has reportedly impressed the veterans. He's earned reps and respect, flashing instincts and tackling prowess in team drills. But let's face it, nothing replicates the force and finesse of our true defensive ace. When he steps back onto the grass, opponents will immediately have to account for his presence, freeing up teammates to make plays, from inside linebackers attacking downhill to cornerbacks playing tighter man coverage. Analysts are already crunching the numbers. If he racks up just half of his 2024 sack total in the final 12 games, could Detroit climb from a borderline playoff contender to a legitimate Super Bowl dark horse? Some insiders believe so. Off the field, the psychological boost cannot be overstated. A locker room that has endured early adversity, close losses, nagging injuries, even that midseason swoon, will suddenly feel rejuvenated. Veteran leaders, inspired by his unwavering work ethic through rehab, have already spoken about rallying behind his comeback. Picture a team meeting where he strides in, greeted by applause and cheers, an instant morale injection that resonates even on the sidelines when the offense stalls or the special teams unit stumbles. Could his return unify this locker room in a way no trade or free agent signing ever could? But what if something shifts between now and kickoff? The medical team remains cautiously optimistic, yet they've emphasized rigorous testing, including high-intensity interval sprints and contact simulations, before giving the final go-ahead. If he stumbles at any point, that mid-September promise could slip to early October, potentially forcing the Lions to navigate their toughest stretch, 3 games against last year's playoff teams, without him. In that scenario, Dan Campbell might lean even harder on a next-man-up mentality, spotlighting his front office's off-season acquisitions and the unsung heroes who have quietly solidified the depth chart. Looking beyond Week 4, the possibilities get even more intriguing. Could he make his triumphant return in prime time, under the lights of Monday Night Football, delivering a signature sack that ends the broadcast with a viral highlight? Or might the Lions coordinate a surprise, live feed of his first practice in full pads using social media to amplify hype and engage fans worldwide? Marketing insiders suggest that Detroit's PR department is already drafting creative assets, sneak peek clips, emotional interviews with teammates, even a countdown to Hutchinson series to maximize viewership and ticket sales. Could this orchestrated buildup become one of the season's most successful promotional campaigns? Now, let's talk legacy. At just 24 years old, our defensive titan has already cemented himself among Detroit's all-time greats. A successful comeback would not only rejuvenate a Super Bowl chase, it could reshape his narrative from promising rookie to resilient legend. History is littered with comeback stories that transcended the sport. Think back to other elite pass rushers who overcame major injuries only to dominate upon return. Could he join those ranks and etch his name alongside the NFL's most inspirational recoveries? So, what's your take? Do you think he'll hit the turf in Week 3, electrify Ford Field, and single-handedly tilt this season in Detroit's favor? Or are you bracing for a more conservative timeline, knowing that his long-term health is the ultimate priority? Drop your predictions and reactions in the comments. I can't wait to read every single one. If you enjoyed this breakdown, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to Lions News Fan Report, and share this video with every Lions booster you know. Thanks for tuning in, and get ready, because the comeback of the year might just be around the corner.